Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating our own version of background image remover, taking a reference from what Adi Usmani has done, which as you can see, find in this link, GitHub link basically. I attached this link in description. So let me give you a demo of what kind of thing we'll be building. We'll be building a simpler interface in compared to this. But the main goal is whenever we click on the image or whatever we upload any image, and it will basically run a background remover machine model and remove the background from this image, and we'll be having an image without a background which will be transparent. Let me wait for a couple of seconds. And just to clarify, the first time it will take some time for the model to come. Like as you can see, this loading background removal model, first time it will be very slow. From second time onwards or from next time onwards, it will become very fast. So anyway, let me come back here. As you might have seen the output, it had removed the background. And it will take some time because it's doing cross browser. You can change the model to the web GPU one, but I'll not do that in this video. But let me just show you. As you can see, you have the background. You can do different things with it. I would say to check it out, but we'll not be doing completely all of this stuff. We'll be doing a very simple application where we'll just be removing the background with a transparent background. So for now, what I've done is I have a basic code which I've written. I'll just explain most of the code. Let me refresh it. Anyway, I've created a couple of things here. One is the basic state which I want for the image. Image is going to be an ID file, mask and process file. It will become clear why is it needed. Loading to load the to have a loading indicator when the model is being loaded, and to show a loading indicator here, I've written some basic Tailwind CSS classes. Then we have a handle image upload, which whenever you're clicking on the upload button, let me show you. It will upload an image and render that image in the UI. And for that, I have done a basic input type file, handle image upload, which is just gonna take the file and attach an image and set an image state variable using set image, as you can see. And whenever the image file is there, only then the process image will be there. So what we're gonna do is we need to do the machine learning stuff in this video. So for that, let us get started now. First of all, let me install the Hugging Face Transformers model, Transformers library package, which will be used to get the machine learning model in our local system. Again, let it get installed. In the meantime, let me create a directory structure or folder structure, you can say. We'll be having lib folder. We'll be having the file as process.ts, and this is gonna take a couple of things. Let me first give the model ID. There are different kinds of model which are available in Hugging Face. You can check out which model you want to use. I know the name of the model because I refer the GitHub, honestly speaking. So that's why I'll be using that model. And it's cross-browser supported, so I'll be using that model only, not the web GPU one, since the web GPU support is not available in all the browsers currently. But you can check it out if you want. Model ID BRY A1 RMG14. We'll be having a basic interface, which will be the model state. This will have the model, which can be null, or it can be something, which I'll add after it gets installed. Anyways, processor of what image processor we're going to be using it. Again, it can be null by default, otherwise some other state, and the current model ID. This is not required as such, but if you want to build on top of it and use another model, you can check that out as well. So that's why I'm giving it here. Then we'll be having a state variable. This will be of type model state, which we declared just now. This will have model. which will be null by default until the model gets loaded, and the processor is also gonna be null by default, and current model ID will be the model ID. So this was it, and I think the package has been installed now, so we first minimize this. Let me import the things which will be required. We'll be needing env, auto model, which will allow us to load the model locally in our system, auto processor, which is going to allow us to process the image, which image processing is required. Raw image is a util, you can say, for the image processing. Pre-trained model is going to be the pre-trained model, and processor is going to be nothing but processor. Second, what happened? Format document. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, I understood now. Model will be of type pre-trained model. It can be either pre-trained model. Processor can be processor. These are the types. And I think citizen by use. So now we can use it. So what we'll do is like I'll be modifying the state. It will be this is gonna be module since I think where is it? This has been imported as module only. So that's why we'll be having a ESM module by default. So we'll be referring the state itself as a global state. You can imagine no state redux stuff and etc. Anyways, let me create a couple of functions, then we'll be adding those functions code later on. First, will be a function which is going to be initiating the model, initialize the model. Okay, it should be function. Then another will be the process image function, which will process the image. So we'll take image, and it will be a type file. So these are tools which will be needed. So let me now add the code for the initialized model. Honestly speaking, I'm not I don't know much machine learning as such recently. So whatever advancements have been done. So I have referred the GitHub honestly speaking, and based on whatever I understood, I'll explain as we go through it. So if you get doubts, ChatGPT is the best place to go to, or Gemini or whatever, which AI assistant you're using. But anyways, let me just now start. First of all, we'll be having try catch. We'll be trying to initialize the model. So we'll be saying env dot allow local models equal to false. As you can see, whether to allow local for default is false if running in browser. I'm just manually writing it here. Then we'll be having env dot backends dot onix dot wasm. If it is there, we'll be having env dot backends proxy equal to false. Sorry, proxy will be true. So basically, this will allow us to run the machine learning model in a worker thread instead of running in the main thread and completely freezing our UI. Then we'll be having state dot model. We'll be basically modifying the state like I mentioned to you. So we have await auto model dot from pre-trained. Basically, these models have been pre-trained, so that's why we have the model ID also. Then we'll be having config. Model type will be custom. As you can see, it says some issues are there, and when you do quick fix, It automatically adds the missing property, which I'm not sure what it does. So I'm just do the, but it works fine. So that's why I'm not doing anything with it. It's up to you whether you want to have it or not. Anyways, we have the state.processor we need to create. This is the processor for the image. Again, we call the await auto processor dot from pre-train. Again, we need to mention a model ID, then the config. Hmm, what happened? Yeah. So we'll be adding do normalize. I'm not sure why the type is not coming. One second. Have I done everything correctly? Auto processor from pre-trained model ID config. I'm not sure why the auto completion is not working, but let me write manually. Do normalize will be true. Basically, to normalize these values, what happens is with the pixel value is like we have four things in a pixel. One is the R value, G value, obviously B value, as well as the alpha. So those four we need to manipulate. By default, it will be like 0 to 255, but the machine learning model wants it in a specific range. So it's like 0 to 1. So we're telling it to normalize it. I think it will make it to 0 to 1 range. Padding will be first, no need to pad the image. Rescaling, we need to rescale the image. Resizing, we need to resize the image. Image mean, I'm not sure, so I can't explain much in detail. I'm just copy pasting this value. You can check it with ChatGPT. It gave some answer, but I was not able to understand it very clearly till now. Then feature extractor type will be image feature extractor. Then image standard deviation. This is related to the image mean, which will basically decide what values to give for the image values. Basically, we have the pixel values, how to normalize and make it suitable so that the model understands it, which will be 1 1 1. Resampling is to how to resample the image. There are different kinds of sampling techniques involved in image processing. So one technique has been used here. And rescale factor is like what scale we need to replace. Like I mentioned to you, we have images values is from 1 to 255. So we need to rescale it use by that value only, 1 by 255. Then we have the size. We need the image size to be a specific size for the model to work properly, which is 1024, and height is also 1024. Then the current model ID will be equal to the model ID. And if something went wrong, we'll do console.log or error. Error initializing the model. Error. So this is the model initialization part. The image processing, what I'll do is like I'll do one thing is like for us to understand more clearly like what happens with the image processing internally. Otherwise it will become more confusing if you just straight on go with the code which has Adi Osmani is written. At least for me it was confusing. So I'll do what is like I'll first of all give you whatever images coming out after processing with the model. So I'll show you in a canvas format and we'll be using that image itself to remove the background. It will become more clear when I start writing the code. First of all, I'll check if the model or processor is not there, then we throw a error. Model is not initialized. Okay. Now we'll be creating the image first of all. We'll be getting the image from the raw image. Like I mentioned to you, await raw image dot from URL, and I'll create the URL using the file using the create object URL syntax, which will take the file. We have the image now. Now we need to pre-process the image. So I'll have try catch. First of all, do await state dot processor image. I'll pass the image. Out of the image, we'll be getting after processing, we'll be getting the pixel values. Again, the auto completion is not working for some reason. Pixel values. Then we'll be having what you can say await state dot model. We'll be having the input. Let me do one thing. Is it my VS Code issue or what? Let me restart the TS server. Input is gonna be pixel values, and this is gonna be, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure why it's happening, but you should have got the auto completions here. Anyways, I'll just try to go through somehow. So we have done the processing of image. We got the pixel values, and these values we are passing it back to the state.model, which will again give us the output. And then we're gonna create a mask data. This is the data which we're gonna use to plot our canvas. So we'll be having await raw image dot from tensor. I'm just help me to create a new image from a tensor, which will be the output which we get 0 dot. So what happened now is like whatever values we're getting is in the form of 0 to 1 for each pixels. We need to have them in the form of 0 to 55. If you remember, I had rescaled the factor from 1 to 2 by 255 divided. You can imagine the image. So I have to again multiply it. So I have multiplied by 255. Then I'll have an int array because uh, I have a pixel. It's going to be maximum 255 value. 255 is like 2 by 8 is what 256. So 0, 1 to 255. So it's a int of 8 type. You int 8. Then I resize the image again since I resized it previously for the model to work on. So I have to resize it back to the image width and height. Width, height. Now we'll be creating a canvas out of this image. First of one second. This is the raw image we got. We need to get the data from it. Got data, which will be the mask data. Now we need to have the mask canvas. This will be nothing but we'll be creating an element here, canvas. Don't worry to not be affecting React as a whole. We'll be using the canvas internally inside our process.js file. So we'll be having the canvas. We'll give the canvas a width and height of the image. Then we'll create a context out of this canvas. Mask ctx equal to mask canvas dot get context of 2D. And if you suppose we don't get the mask context for some reason, we'll throw an error to keep TypeScript happy. Now we'll be having, so now in this, if we did not have this code, suppose for some reason, this mask context could be null also, but now mask context, if I use it here, it's just to keep TypeScript happy, honest speaking. Mask pixel data equal to mask ctx. So as you can see now it's 2D context is it's not null. We'll be having the create image data. We need to give the lower image width and height, image width and image height. Now what I have to do is what I'll do is I'll take these values which I got from the from the mask data and use it to create a canvas image. Basic to create a basically to create a canvas with that image, and we'll create a blob out of that image and return the blob, and we'll be rendering that blob inside the app.tsx file. It will become clear when I write the code. And like I mentioned to you previously, that we'll be having RGBA values, so that's why four values we need to check for it. So one data, and it's a loop. We'll be having the mass data, which will be of values. It will have only for the. Let me just write the code. It will become more clear that way. So mass data is just going to give us one straight array, you can say, of the alpha values and all, but we'll be using that to what I've understood till now. We'll be using that to just plot the values for this mask because I just want to create a mask out of it. The main purpose was not to use this way, but I just wanted to make it easier for you to visualize what's happening under the hood. And there should be index. Sorry, this should be. And 25 is the maximum value, so I want to give it the maximum value. It is not clear this part. You can put this part of the code in the ChatGPT to understand more better in terms. I can't explain it in much more detail than this, honestly speaking. So, anyways, we'll be having now the mask context. We'll be putting the image data. So we have modified the mask pixel data now, which we got previously, and we'll just give it back to the put image data and dx and 0. So now we can create a file out of it, like a blob out of it, and create a file out of the blob and send it to the app.tsx file. So that I'll do it now. Const mask blob. If we get the blob, then we'll just resolve this promise with the blob data. Otherwise, reject with an error. Failed to create blob. Save. So mask blob will be unknown type. Okay, I'm going to type here. It will be blob. So mask blob should be of type blob now. Mask canvas to blob, blob device this. Okay, fine. Now I need to create a file name for the mask. I'll use just the image name only. You can be creative here, but I just want to keep it things simple. Insert name, split dot whatever image I got. I'll just have a mask dot png added to it. Then mask file will be equal to new file. Pass it the blob and give the mask file name and give the height as image png. Done. So now we need to just return it. Mask file. So now come back to here. We need to have a couple of things now. This is not the part completely done. We need to come back to process.tsx, but I just want to make you visualize a couple of things. So hence, now let me come here in the top and just add a use effect first of all to initialize the model. I don't want to write a function extra, so what I'll do is like I'll use an async away. I'll create an immediately invokes function expression. Once initialized, and loading will be set to true now. So initialize will be equal to initialize model, and it will be promised, so I need to await it. And I should have a try catch here also. If the model has been initialized, if the model has been first of all initialized, if it's not initialized, then we'll just throw an error. Model not initialized. I think I need to type it also here because I'm not specifically mentioning the type. If it is true, everything has been done correctly, then I should return it true. That will basically allow us to stop the loading. And since it's returned true now, I think it will have a promise true undefined. I'll just type it here. That will be a Boolean type. It should be it like this. I think it was not needed as such because undefined by default would have been false if you convert it. But anyways, I just added some things. Anyway, it will be uninitialized if the model is not initialized, we'll stop the loading and just console.log error. Console.error, error, and we'll have finally as set is loading as false. So this was done. Now handle click, we need to call again the function now. Await, process image, pass the image to it, const result equal to await process image. Okay, it should be file, I guess. Image.file. Okay. Then okay, and this should be a sync. Sorry about that. So image.file is this. Then we'll be having, if we check the result. If the result is there, that means we got the output something. For now, we'll be just getting the mask file, but later we'll be getting the processed image also. Mask file. And let me add the set image as image, whatever is already there. Mask file. That's it. So this is done. Now we need to just add one more div tag here. Copy this, paste. This will be mask file, image.mask file. That's it. Let us see now if everything looks fine. Fail to resolve the package may have incorrect model parts. Refresh. Let me check the dependencies. Everything is fine. It's for Hugging Face, Transformers 3.2.4. Versions are fine. Fail to resolve entry for package. The package may have incorrect memory export specified as package.json. Uh, Let me see the imports. Hugging Face Transformers. Let me see a couple of other things if it's wrong there also. We have this. We got the image. Oh yeah, we need to create send this image. Save. And let me add the error also now only. Later on, I'll forget. Console.error. Error processing image. And throw in error. Fail to process image. Save. Let me see if everything works fine. Uh, Localhost 5173. Input server failed to resolve entry for package. The package may have incorrect main module export specified in its package.json. So I have fixed the issue. I had to remove my node modules and do some changes. But if you are also encountering this issue and you are not able to fix it for some reason, I would suggest you to git clone of my repository to not make this as a blocker when you're exploring something new completely. So let us focus on the concepts instead of bundler issues. So anyways, I have went ahead and added some comments also which was missing previously and some extra code which I'll be writing later on. So I thought I'll just avoid that and just since the code is somewhat similar, so I'll show you about it. But first, let us see the output now. So the first time it will load the model, so it will take some time. And let me come back when it's done. So now the model has been loaded. So let me choose a file, open, process image. It will take some time processing. I have not done extra loading here. but it will be done inside our machine itself, not on any server. So it's privacy focused. And let me see if there's an error or not. Yeah, as you can see, the black area represents things which are the background, which needs to be removed, and the white area represents things which are like 255. 255 is the value. When you have RGB, both all are 255. You can have a white shade, a white color basically, and A is alpha is again I mentioned 255, so it's making it look as white, and other places are black. So that's why we're getting a white color in the canvas. So now we need to do something similar. We need to use this black area to remove the areas which are constant. So that's why in the code below which I've written, in the code below which I've written with the canvas, this I'll do a processed file. And as you can see here, we have the canvas image with same similar thing. We are drawing the image, we are updating the alpha channel. In here, the only thing what I'm doing is like the pixel data, whichever I'm getting for the image, for that in the alpha region, I'm putting it mask data as I. So mask data is going to be the value. So if suppose you can imagine 0 is the black value and 255 is the white value. So if alpha is 0, then it will be the alpha, sorry, the mask data of I will be 0. Then it will be the pixel data or data, whichever pixels alpha will also be 0. And if it is 0, alpha is 0, then it will be, you can say, opaque in that way or transparent. Maybe I'm mixing the words here and there, but I think it should be clear what I'm trying to say. And we are doing the something similar here. We're just returning the uh, processed file. So in the app.tsx, I have already went there and added another image, which is for the process file also. So now let us come back and see here. Choose file. Let me refresh it once. Again, it will take some time to load, but the first time it will take a lot of time, but afterwards the model I think is being cached for somehow. And that's why we are able to get a model next time onwards very fast. So in processing image will done. The second image will be the mask and third image will be the image with the background removed. And it will take some time. And I think the processing integration should happen there. As you can see, we are having the background removed and somewhat similar with regards to here also. Something similar is being done. Mostly the code is somewhat same, only the main important part of the codes are the same. Here you have a web GPU model also, which I'm not using because I wanted to keep it more beginner friendly and cross-platform. So this model is gonna be supporting without web GPU, so RMBG 1.4, but you can use modnet as well, but it will not be supported in browsers which don't have WebGPU support currently. So I think that was it for this video. And if you get stuck in any some reason, like I mentioned, just check out my GitHub repository. It will be clear. And if you want to go further deep down or see, I would suggest you check out Adi Osmani's project itself. It's quite good. So yeah, you can check it up, check his code, or you can check my code. It's up to you. Mine is more focused, but I believe you should go learn more about him, more about the you can say project in more detail by going to his repository, I guess. And I think that was it for this whole video. And bye.